come what may, it will stay with us. If we don't deserve it, do how much ever tapas, it will not stay with you. I have seen it practically applied in life. There are times that I have been in situations, crossroads, wherein I have absolutely no resources. And I have tried my every effort to find a resource to cater to that situation. I have no resources. Then I remember what Guruji sings. He says, Bhagavan meri naiya ab tak nibhaya hai. My boat, my life, if it is a boat, you have constantly taken care of it. Ab tak nibhaya hai. Aage bhi nibha lena. Future also, you only take care. Because if given to me, I don't know how to take care. And if you give it to me, whole thing might just collapse and my life can become a Titanic. Not knowing whether if it would be a movie made after it. Bhagavan, you have taken care. And I am assured that you will take care of me further. But somewhere down the lane, there is that injustice that we feel. I have done. I should get this result from this action. I'll make sure that I'll squeeze everything out of it. You don't need to be violent. We are very violent in our thinking, in our behavior. We don't eat food. We grab food. Isn't that what we use in day-to-day language? Let me go grab some food. Who is stopping you? Nobody is stopping you. Please go have some food. Don't grab it. Let me, blast some volume. Why blast? Increase the volume. No, blast. Violent people, violent tendencies, violent thinking. You put your effort, you will get the result. What is not in your hand is when you will get the result. But you will definitely get your result. Bhagavan says, that much I can guarantee. You put your effort, you will get your result. And for that, you don't need to unnecessarily go through the various anxiety, tensions. Even if we can understand that one sentence, 90% of our tensions are reduced. But we don't wish to. And even if there is somebody who believes it, when they are peaceful, looking at their peace, we don't like it. When something is so terrible, how can you be so peaceful? Oh, did you want me to do some Tandava, Pralaya Tandava? Is it going to change? No. As much as I am frustrated, you also show frustration. That is when I will feel comfortable. It doesn't help. So as a conclusion, he says in the next shloka, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat Jnanadhyanam visishyate Dhyanat karma phalatyagaha Yagat shantiranantaram Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. See, we keep doing certain things without knowing why we do what we do. For example, whenever we perform puja, we do arati. Why do we do it clockwise? why not counterclockwise? We do the pradakshina, so what do you say it in English? Circumambulation around the sanctum sanctorum. Why do we do it clockwise? Why not counterclockwise? We do a lot of things. Why do we do what we do? It is not just in Hinduism. Any culture, any tradition, anything that is often repeated, sometimes what we do, why we do, we don't have answers. So I was in SMU, it was their graduation day. On their graduation day, there was a bunch of around 80 Indian kids. They said, on our graduation day, we want you to come and speak to us. Somebody asked a question, why do we do whatever? They said, in your graduation, after you take the certificate, first of all, why do you wear black? Why do you wear that kind of a fancy topi? There is no reason. You wear. There was a certain tradition somebody started somewhere back in history, and it's continued. Do you have to necessarily continue it? Not necessary. You're still a graduate even if you don't take that certificate that day. You don't participate in that ceremony, you're still a graduate. Nothing stops you from it. So why do it? I want to talk of this country wherein graduation ceremonies are celebrated from kindergarten to first grade. First grade to second grade. Hard kar diya. Heights of it. Then at the end of the graduation ceremony, they throw everything up. Why? Have you seen it happen? So when we do certain things out of various conditionings, instead of just doing them, find as to why we do them. Instead of rejecting them and resisting them, find the basis, find the reasons as to why we do them. So instead of abhyasa, the abhyasa with jnana is of a greater nature. Jnana abhyasat shreyaha. Jnanat dhyanam visishyate. Many of us have this constantly asked question, a very favorite question of satsanga. Usually I come across this question quite often. Yes? Whenever we hear and sit in the satsanga, we feel very inspired to bring in a change in our lives. But that inspiration does not last long. Why? With your smiles, it is kind of obvious that you also feel the same. Am I right? Why does it happen? There is only one reason. We hear but not listen. Hearing happens because the Lord has not provided flaps like the eyelids. If there were flaps like that, you would have always shut it. So hearing happens as a default setting because the ears remain open. But that which you hear, when it gets translated to something meaningful, something which is applicable, then you are listening. That is the first stage. Second stage, many of us listen, but we do not follow it through with thinking, processing. Because the scriptures have always said, just because the scriptures are saying you do not need to believe it. Instead, investigate into finding whether the scriptures are saying it in its first place in the right context or not. Whether they are giving us the right guidance or not. Investigate into it. And when we do investigate, do a thorough investigation without prejudices stopping us. Many of us, when we do the investigation, what do? We already have a certain conclusion. We already have a certain prejudice. In order to prove that prejudice, we go on investigating. Why is ritual not that important in our day-to-day practice of Hinduism? Because I have made already a judgment call. Rituals are mere waste. So we see many so-called educated Indian Hindus. I believe in philosophy of Hinduism, not in the ritual of Hinduism. It is like saying I believe in the theoretical physics, but not applied physics. I like the philosophy of it, but not the ritual of it. Before we jump to those conclusions, investigate thoroughly. Jnanat dhyanam visishyate. Dhyanat eka chintanat. Constantly investigating into that one thought, trying to identify what are its pluses and minuses. Why the scripture is giving us this instruction? Why is it asking us to do what it is asking us to do? Subtler than that, he says, Dhyanat karma phala tyagaha. No, we have already read it. Dhyanat karma phala tyagaha. Subtler than such dhyana is that which distracts the focused mind. What is it that distracts our focused mind? Our anxiety. I don't know, Swamiji. We have 2 children. What will happen to them? Who can say what answer to that? Whatever has to happen will happen. No, Swamiji, I don't know. We are staying so far away from the country. Now the children are born. We are confused whether to raise them here or raise them there. It doesn't matter. There are pluses and minuses there are pluses and minuses here. There is never going to be an ideal condition wherein you can bring them. Even if you think that you have created an ideal condition, the kids are like plants. They will grow in the direction where they are supposed to be growing. That's about it. You, like a gardener, can prune sometimes, discipline sometimes, construct a certain conditioning so that it gets the best out of them. But that is all external support. Until you become an adult. What does adult mean? Earlier we were attached to toys, Barbie dolls. When you grow up, you get attached to something else. But the frustrations and the anxieties are still continued, the same. Don't need to get frustrated. Hence, therefore, karma phala tyagaha. That which would come back anyway to you as a result, why are you getting anxious about it? It's like the boomerang. You throw one, you don't need to be anxious. Aega ki nahi. It will come back. It's a natural effect. It will happen. Don't waste your peace of mind on that which is so obvious and that which is so owned by you. Karma phala tyaga. The day we understand to give that karma phala tyaga, to unnecessarily anticipate that which is so obvious, who will be at peace? We will be at peace. Tyagat shantihi anantaram. The day we give up this tyaga of what? That which was yours anyway, that which will come to you anyway. That frustration, that anxiety, once you give up, you will acquire peace of mind here and now. And that mind which is peaceful alone can enjoy happiness. Let me make it more evident in a different style of presentation. Can a frustrated mind claim, I am frustrated but I am very happy? Is that even a possibility? I am so agitated but I am very happy. It is not a possibility. You can be happy only on the platform of peace. And what gives you that peace is this fine-tunement in the 5 steps explained by the Lord. How do I recognize, how do I realize that I am applying these 5 steps wherever I am and moving forward in life? There should be some indication that I am going on the right track. So from here to Dallas, I take a highway. It says Dallas 320 miles. And after an hour's drive, it says 420 miles. Something wrong somewhere. Some indication whether I am on the track moving forward towards my destination or moving away from it. So Bhagavan tells in the next shloka what are those indications. Adveshta sarva bhutanam,
Adveshta sarva bhutanam,
Maitra karuna evacha,
Maitra karuna evacha,
Nirmamo nirahankaraha,
Nirmamo nirahankaraha,
Samadukha sukha kshami.
Samadukha sukha kshami.
First indication. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Absence of hatred from our heart. And that was another cultural shock. When I started dealing with these kids in this country, they use certain words so nonchalantly, so frequently. Is like, you are a hypocrite. Do you even know the meaning? Maybe we are. I don't know. Some other words like, I hate you. Even that word has a lot of depth in it, intensity in it. So I gave this prasad. Whatever is there as a fruit, I was giving it, distributing it to the kid. And this kid, at the turn, there were only green apples left. So I gave that green apple. I hate green apples. What did the green apple do to you to hate it? You may not want it, I understand. You may not like it, I still understand. You hating it, what did it do to you to hate it? See how practical the signs of improvement are defined. He is not saying that suddenly you will start developing universal brotherhood. There will be love oozing out of every pore of your body. Impractical stuff. There is peace radiating from face. They make such statements. I don't know even if they understand what that statement means. Instead, what is the first practical step, the sign to understand? Absence of hatred towards anybody in the world. However wrong they might have wronged you in your life. Nothing is worth hating in this life. Before my hatred can ruin anybody. Somebody gave a very beautiful example. This was one of our kids, Balagihar kids. He said, what I have understood in Balavihar is, with negativities you burn yourself and burn the world. With positivities you still burn yourself, but give glory to this world. And the example that he took was, with negativities burning yourself is like a cigarette. Before it can harm anybody else, it harms you. That is what negativities do. Like hatred and jealousy and other things. Whereas positive qualities, once you inculcate in yourself, it burns the ego away. But what does it give to the world? It is like burning the agarbatti, the incense sticks. It burns itself, but what does it give to the world? Fragrance. Adveshta sarva bhutana. Do not have hatred towards anybody. I think one more step before that would be to make this a complete sentence or complete experience. If you were the cause of hatred in somebody's heart, you have done something, you have created a situation inadvertently or knowingly, unknowingly, whatever it was, you have created hatred in somebody's heart. Your actions were the cause for it, and you have recognized it. If you are true to the path of spirituality, what should we do? Go to them and sincerely seek apologies for them. Not just for the heck of it. I'm sorry. No, we really feel that you have wronged them. You stand in front of them naked, without any ego, without any masks. You go there, stand, beg them for forgiveness, clean your chart, do not have any accounts hanging in there. It takes a lot of courage to do it. It's not that easy. Because the other person may not even want to see your face, does not even want to entertain you in their presence. But still, you got to muster that courage, stand in front of them and let go of that ego and say, hey, I know what I have done. I am extremely sorry for what I have done. Please forgive. Seek that forgiveness. And then make sure that your heart does not carry any hatred towards anybody. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Once that hatred is removed, then we can truly be friendly towards everybody around us. Maitraha. Maitraha, to be friendly. And to be friendly does not mean to be always in need. Because friend in need is friend indeed. So don't be always in that need and say there is no friends at all. You be that friend who can be of support to everybody around. But anticipate nothing in return from anybody. You be that support system. You create that environment wherein you can shoulder that responsibility and be a support for everybody that comes by your life. But you make sure that you don't burden your life on anyone. Maitraha. Start with between husband and wife. Then we can think about the rest of the world. Wherein you be friends to each other in such a deep, impactful manner that the other person can take you for granted, that you are there for them always, and that you don't anticipate anything in return. Maitra. And once this mitrata is understood, then what flows as a result is called karuna, compassion. I understand the first part of this word in Hindi and the second part in English. What is compassion? Though there are no hidden agendas, compassion. When I don't have a hidden agenda to get benefit from the world outside, but instead I have only that heart of a friend who wants to give rather than take. This act of giving and taking is amazing. Even in Chinmaya Mission Pledge, when we stand and chant, it is Guru very beautifully puts it. He says, giving more than what we take, producing more than what we consume. Because service to the Lord of Lords, service to the nation, service to the individual is the service of the Lord of Lords. And giving what? Not pain, misery, sorrow. Giving that which you have to sacrifice for the sake of somebody else's happiness. Give. We only demand. We only grab. Instead, we should be taught how to give. Even as a child growing up, nowadays we have hardly a kid or two per family. So the sharing, caring, loving, giving is never a part of our life or culture nowadays. Earlier, when there was this combined family under a single roof which is as big as your homes today, there will be at least 35-40 people living in that family, using the same kitchen, same utilities. So there is a festival and there is a bowl of sweets. So the oldest child gets the responsibility, go distribute this prasad to everybody equally. The first thing that we have learnt in culture is that you serve the rest of them first and then eat. It is not that, okay, this is my favorite sweet. If I distribute and nothing is left for me, then distribute. No. A part of that growing up is that you first share, give, care for all the rest of them. If something is left, then you enjoy it. First principle learned. The second goes around distributing. Now there are always those, in such combined families I have seen, the oldest one is 17, 18-year-old, the youngest one is 2, 3-year-olds. Bhaiya, please. He says, okay, don't tail me around the entire house. If there is anything left, I'll come back to you. Stay here, right here. He was waiting eagerly. One hand holding the sweet, looking at it, doesn't want to eat. Now the moment you eat it, it finishes. So he keeps enjoying it, looking at it. Drooling over that sweet in his hand. And by the time this fellow goes around the entire house, distributes that prasada to 40 people, fortunately or unfortunately, there's only one piece left. And whose is that one piece? His own. But he looks at that young ones. There are 3 of them. He makes 3 equal parts. And take. Now the child is also growing up, seeing that for their satisfaction, for their happiness, somebody else had to sacrifice. And that is when they could enjoy it. Now when they grow up in such environment, they end up giving rather than demanding. Now in a family of one child, maybe 1.5 children average, and the child knows, I have a demand, I'll go to mom. If mom doesn't agree, dad. One way or the other, I make sure that my demands are met. And when they come out into the world, what are they expecting from the world? That I have a demand, it has to be met with. They don't understand sharing, caring, giving, loving. Only aggrandizing, pulling, grabbing. But the moment there is that mitrata, karuna becomes the next natural flow. You cannot enact, you cannot pump up artificial compassion. It has to be genuine. Otherwise it cannot be sustained. So, adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna evacha. Nirmamaha. Nirmamaha, from the basic standpoint, that which is not mine, I don't want to indulge in it unnecessarily. Even if it was a thought. If there are two people talking, what are you talking? Why do you want to know? If you were to be a part of their discussion, they will tell you. No, the other day, I was going, they were talking to each other. So, let them. If it is something that has to reach you, it will reach you. Don't scavenge around for something that doesn't belong to you. See, that is the difference between a vulture and an eagle. The eagle pulls out its feathers to make itself lighter so that it can go higher and higher. But a vulture, having reached to that height, where is its eyes constantly? On dead carcass around. And it relishes it. And if our mind, in spite of coming to Vedanta, if you are still focused on who is saying, what is saying, why is saying, what they have, what they do, how does it matter? Does it help you in growing in your sadhana? See, when people come and tell me certain things, I have their 3-point test. First, by sharing what you have to share, does it benefit you? It doesn't make any difference. Stop. Go. No, but I want to tell. Does it benefit me? No. So stop. Go. No, but please. Is it truthful at least? If it is not truthful, if it is not beneficial to you, if it is not beneficial to me, why care for it? Why unnecessarily dump the garbage into your system? Dur se bhale. From distance, dust yourself off and keep moving. But we have that scavenging habit. And there's something, what is it? Why do you want to know? Let go. Then comes the internal nirmamaha. The ability to not get swayed by anything that is around you. You find its utility. Once the utility is done, you are ready to just give it up. What does giving it up mean? Not throwing it away. We have a very wrong meaning of renunciation. Renunciation or nirmamaha does not mean that you run away from things that are around you. If it is a utility, you use it. Its presence or absence does not create a dent in your inside, in your personality. If it is required, you use it. If it is not required, you stop it. But you don't crave for its presence or absence. We end up coming across people telling, I don't know what I would have done without a cell phone. You would have been a better sane person. At least I would have. I don't know what I would have done without this. I don't know what. We have lived generations after generations without these things and we have been good. Before we can accumulate something, one question to ask for ourselves. Is it a need or is it a want? Wants can be plenty. Needs are always few. The day we understand that the needs are met, we are the most satisfied people on the surface. The day we buy into the logic of wants, there is never an end to it. And the only one who can be satisfied is the one who understands that needs are important, wants are not. And each person to their own level know their limits of needs and wants. I don't need to define it for you. How do I understand what is a need and a want? That without which I cannot live by is a need. Food is a need. Warm clothes is a need. Shelter is a need. Water to quench thirst is a need. 72-inch flat screen. I just stopped where I have to stop. Now it is your personal decision that has to be made. I used to feel frustrated earlier because after coming to US, I don't know my prarabdha, there's so many gadgets, so many clothes that come as a gift. I said, well, I don't need them, why are they coming? Then later I understood how to use them. So all these gadgets, clothes I collect over the year, and when I go to India, I distribute them. Because there are enough who need it. Like, there are students that I know who are studying engineering, they need laptops. And most of us say, I want to donate my laptop. 5 years old. अपने तकिया के नीचे रखा सो जा. It is obsolete. That is not what is to be donated. So I get these laptop or the gadgets that come by. So I keep scouting for such students who are economically really in need. And when I go, I distribute it. Agate swagatam kuriyade. When the gifts come, I say, okay, give them. So one bag is constantly open. Whatever comes, I keep packing it inside. And yearly, once or twice, I keep traveling. I take the entire bag, download it there, find the right person, give it to them, so that the best of it is used. By the best of the needful of them. I neither have a craving to accept it, nor have a disgust to reject it. If it is required, it will come. Wherever it has to go, it will go. Agate swagatam kuriyat. Nirgate na nivarayet. When it comes, welcome. When it goes, bid farewell. Both of them have to be done with the same equipoise of mindset. When it comes, when it goes, that doesn't work. Nirmamaha. After 1.5 hours, this shuts down. Now I realize how much effort I have been exerting. Must have been. Yeah. Nirahankaraha. Nirahankaraha. When such nirmamatva, wherein I am not depending on so many things, is reduced to bare minimum, then I start focusing on the unnecessary projection of one's own self over the entire environment around me as if I was the greatest ever. There's only one example that I can give. Do you know you are great?